What's up, guys? I figured today would be a video to talk about the 426 Hemi and how that could affect me in the future of this car. So if you are a Mopar fan and I've been following recent news and the commercials and media that has been going around Dodge, then you've probably seen that they produced a commercial on April 26th, 426, about the 426 engine. Well, they didn't really say it, but they kept referencing 426 in street signs and clocks and so forth. So it looks like 426 is going to be something in the future. And will it replace the 392? Is it going to replace the 392? Is it going to be in addition to the 392, something that bridges the 392 and the 6.2 supercharged motor? I think the jury's still out on that. We don't know, or maybe people do, and I haven't seen it yet. It seems logical that the 392 would be replaced by the 392 has been out since I believe the 2012 model year. So and it's in the 2018 now, so it's been around for 6 years. I don't see the 6.1 was around for probably about that same amount of time before the 6.4 came out. So this could be the end of the 6.4 392, and in lieu of the 7-liter 426. So being that I've only had this car for a little over 6 months, how do I feel about that? Not 100% thrilled, to be honest. Had I known that this was coming up, maybe I would have delayed my purchase and waited for the 426. So I think there's a few things that I'm going to consider before I make a decision on what I'm going to do, because so far they've announced, or I've read, that there will be a 7-liter motor in the Ram, coming up. I believe it's called the TRX Rebel. It's going to have the Hellcat motor in it, and then an option for a 7-liter NA V8, which would be the 426. The article I read said it was going to make 520 horsepower, which, if they put that in the cars at only 520 horsepower, and right now the 6.4 392s are making 485, and that's only a 35 horsepower bump. I'm not sure about the torque, probably something similar. That is not going to get me out of my current car. I'm going to have to see some bigger numbers than that, and I think Dodge knows that. So I'd expect the cars to make somewhere around 550 to maybe 575, somewhere around that range. Once you get to that number, that's gonna make the 392 look a little weaker. And someone like me, the whole reason I bought this car was, I had never owned a V8 car, for one. I'd always had a boosted 4-cylinder, which, you can make those cars really fast, but I'm loving the V8, and I think my 4-cylinder days, at least for performance type cars, are over. All hail the V8. So I think before I decide what I'm going to do, because I had some plans for this car that I'm going to have to kind of put on hold until we see what's coming up, because I don't want to put more money into this car for aftermarket type things, performance, if I'm gonna want to get something else instead. So I'd rather just drive this car, enjoy it. It's a heck of a lot of fun as it is, and then upgrade to the new player in town if it comes calling. So for me, when I got this car, you know eventually these big V8 cars are gonna excuse me, are gonna start dying off. I think Dodge probably will hold on to them the longest. Seems like the way they're moving, they're just getting bigger and bigger, right? And more horsepower. I think smaller engines that are boosted will probably be, 10 years from now, probably gonna be what we're gonna see. But before the V8s die out, I wanted to get one for myself, and if I'm gonna get one before and hold on to it for quite a while, I kind of want to get the biggest and baddest. Of course, you could say the biggest and baddest is the Hellcat for a Charger, which it is. But I wanted the biggest and baddest that I can afford. And I do not want to buy a used, and you'll see people will say, well, buy a used Hellcat. They're coming down in price quite a bit. And they are, but I don't want to buy a used performance car, especially a Hellcat, because, unless it came from some old man or woman, it's probably been beaten. Even though it's a year or two old, it's probably been just abused, because that's what I would do with it, I'm sure. And I just don't want to buy. Why would you get rid of it? I know some people don't keep cars and they're well off enough, or whatever reason, they just don't keep cars more than like a year or two, and that's fine. But unless someone could guarantee me that the car was not was baby its entire life and things like that, I just don't want to buy someone's used, ragged out car. I'd rather buy a performance car new. If I was looking for an SUV or something, sure, I'd buy used. I will buy used. But for now, I'm trying to stick with new. This car was new when I got it, and I'm gonna either keep it or go with the next new best thing if it's good enough, I guess. So let's talk about the things that I need to see to get me out of this car and into a 426. We already talked about the horsepower numbers. That's at least 450. I'm sorry, at least 550. What about manual transmissions? I've driven a manual my entire driving life, pretty much. And while I do miss it in this car, the 8-speed auto is fantastic. And everyone says that on the internet, pretty much. And the pedals are pretty responsive. They're not as much fun as that third pedal, but if you want to have some control over it, you do have that option, and it's fun. I use it all the time. I think the car is faster just letting it shift on its own. So, but I've heard that the 8-speed that's the 8-speed that's in the Scat Packs and the 392 SRTs and whatnot, that's not the same transmission that's in the Hellcat. They're very similar, maybe the same company, but the Hellcat can handle a lot more power. And from what I've heard, the transmission in my car can hold about 550 horsepower, 550 foot-pound torque, somewhere in that range, reliably. Anything higher than that, it's going to break eventually. Maybe not right away, but it's not reliable in the long term. So if they're putting out a motor that's already making that power right at that threshold, we're going to need a new transmission, aren't we? So are they going to put the Hellcat transmission in here? I guess that would probably be the most cost effective. But is that going to increase the cost of the car? I mean, one of the selling points of this car is it's the fastest car under 40 grand, base model. It's like 39,995 or something like that. So you got to think the price is going to go up. If it's a direct, if the 426 is replacing all 392s and it's just a standard equipment update, maybe the price doesn't change, or maybe very little. But will the transmission cause the price to go up? Because if they're gonna keep this same transmission in the car and bump the horsepower up considerably, I'm not going to get that car because I don't want to have those problems. Another thing, you know, traction. The 392 can't put down the power as is. I don't even think the 345 5.7 liter with whatever tires come out on those cars from the factory can hold that all that well. So what are they going to do about that? Are they going to do anything to address that? I mean, the Hellcats are coming with 275, so I have 275s on this car from the factory. It doesn't hold the power. I don't even know what the Hellcat guys are doing. They're probably immediately upgrading to a drag radial or just spinning all over the place. But, you know, are they going to address the drive shaft that the Hellcat guys have? If you go to the drag strip on a consistent basis, you have to replace your drive shaft because the one that they put in the car is not strong enough. And if the car hooks, the drive shaft, you know, what is the word? You know, if it hooks, it twists. There it is. So you can't twist your drive shaft and continue running. So you're done. So are they going to address that? Or are they just going to make you upgrade it to a third-party company if you decide to, you know, to actually take it to the strip and use the car in a straight line? Let's just be honest. Can they turn? Sure. Are they going to turn as good as a Camaro? No. Are they going to turn as good as a Mustang? No. But this is a big 5-door sedan. Can a Mustang fit a family of 5 comfortably? No. Can my car? Yep. So, you know, I definitely staying with the Charger. I love this car, but it's just something to think about, you know. What does Dodge have up their sleeve? They are constantly pushing the envelope. The Hellcat, the Demon, you know, when the Viper was in production, an amazing car. They're all amazing cars. But, you know, I don't want to be constantly having to worry about the next thing they're going to put out. Is it going to be better than my car? It probably is, but for someone who actually wants to keep their car for a while, me, I want to get what I really want and then hold on to it and then hope that that's actually, you know, in 2 or 3 years from now, is it still going to hold that special place in my heart where I'm content with that? I'm hoping that this car already is, but if the 426 is what it could be, then I think a lot of Scat Pack owners are going to feel like they need to upgrade. And maybe that's a smart move by Dodge. I mean, I believe the Charger's a pretty darn good selling car, and the Challenger. So they're going to, the people who have even maybe a 2015 have had like the first model year, they might be ready to get something new anyway. But me, I've only had the car for 6 months. You know, that's going to put me in a spot because I'm probably going to be a little not upside down in the payments, but, you know, I'm going to lose money by switching cars that quickly. So let me know what you think. I'd like to read some comments from some of you guys with your opinions on the 426. You know, do you think it'll be worth upgrading to your 390 from your 392? If you're, you know, the 392 is a great motor. It makes lots of power. I can't hold the power with these all seasons, you know, not even close. So as the 426, you know, what benefit would that be except to go through tires quicker from the constant spinning you're doing? And the gas mileage. That obviously, you know, a 7-liter engine probably isn't going to get as good gas mileage as a 6.4. Not that you buy these cars for good gas mileage, right? But, you know, gas prices have gone up a little bit since I bought this car. And you know, it's something to think about. So what do you guys think?